Feel that familiar pang when scrolling through curated lives. You're not alone. In this quiet space of now, let's gently release the need to compare. Share with us your current time, location, and one thing you're grateful for right now. As we softly let go of comparison's grip, we'll explore why it hurts so deeply in our connected age. In the quiet hum of your phone screen, a familiar ache begins to rise. You scroll through curated moments of others' lives, perfect vacations, effortless success, radiant smiles, and suddenly your own reality feels dimmer, smaller. This isn't just a fleeting thought, it's a deep, instinctive reaction woven into our biology. When we compare, our brain misreads the image of another's highlight reel as a threat, triggering that ancient survival response. Stress hormones flood the system. Your heart quickens, shoulders tighten, a physical echo of the mental tug. It's not about the person in the photo, it's about the story we tell ourselves. They have it all. I am lacking. This false narrative, built from fragments of others' lives, erases the messy, beautiful truth of your own journey. It paints a picture of a life that is always just out of reach, making your present moment feel like a deficit rather than a gift. Consider the monk who sat by a rushing river, watching the water flow past. He noticed how each leaf carried its own journey, some swift, some slow, none judging the other. One day, a traveler approached, frustrated, and said, "Why does my leaf move so much slower than the one beside me?" The monk smiled. "You are not comparing your leaf to the river," he said. "You are comparing your leaf to another's leaf, forgetting the river carries both." This is the illusion we create online. We scroll through a river of others' leaves, mistaking their path for the river itself, and forget the current of our own life. We see a polished image of someone's achievement, their joy, their ease, and assume it's their constant reality. But we never see the moments they scrolled past, the doubts they hid, the quiet work behind the highlight. That perfect vacation photo, it captures one moment, not the days of packing, the stress of travel, the loneliness of being away. We build a whole story around a single frame, while our own life continues, unfolding in its own time, its own rhythm. Pause now. Take a gentle breath. When did comparison last make you feel small? Perhaps it was seeing an old friend's career milestone while you felt stuck, or a friend's vacation photo while you were stuck in a long work week. Notice the physical sensation. Does your chest feel tight? Is there a hollow space beneath your ribs? A slight tension in your jaw? These are not random. They are your body's way of signaling the inner conflict, the unspoken not enough that comparison whispers. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about recognizing the quiet signal. The physical sensation is your wise, truthful body speaking, reminding you that this pain is not about reality. It's about the story we've constructed. This moment of noticing, of feeling the tightness and naming it without judgment, is where the shift begins. It's the quiet acknowledgement that the pain we feel isn't from the scroll itself, but from the story we've been told about it. Recognizing this pain is the first step to seeing through the illusion. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel that tightness in your chest, that quiet ache when you scroll through feeds filled with others' seemingly perfect moments. This is the raw edge of comparison, the place where the mind whispers, "I am not enough." Each time you measure your ordinary day against a highlight reel of someone else's life, you reinforce that deep wound. You forget your own journey, your unique path, and instead believe the lie that your worth is determined by what you see or don't see. Social media magnifies this pain. It shows only polished moments, smiles frozen in perfect light, travels to places you've never been, achievements you haven't yet earned, while hiding the messy, ordinary reality of every single person's life. The curated highlight becomes your reality, and your own life, with all its quiet struggles and small joys, feels lacking. You are not comparing yourself to a whole person, but to a carefully constructed illusion, and that illusion steals your peace. In the Zen tradition, there is a simple story of a monk who spent years gazing into a still pond, believing the reflection of the moon he saw there was the true moon itself. He felt joy in that reflection, then despair when clouds covered the sky, thinking the moon had vanished. One day, an elder monk gently placed a stone in the water. The reflection shattered. The monk gasped, then saw the moon clearly in the sky above. The reflection was never the moon. It was just a surface, a momentary distortion. The moon was always there, unchanged. Social media is that pond. The highlights we scroll through are like the broken reflection. The surface, not the truth. The person behind the post, like you, is navigating their own unseen storms, their own quiet moments of doubt and grace. Their life is not a highlight reel. It is a full, complex story, just like yours. When you compare, you mistake the reflection for the moon, and you lose sight of the vast, unchanging sky within yourself. So pause now, just for this breath. Feel your feet on the ground, the air moving through you. Let go of the scroll, the comparison, the need to measure yourself against the screen. Place a hand gently over your heart. Feel its steady rhythm. Now, whisper to yourself with quiet certainty, "I am enough." Not "I will be enough," not "I should be enough," but simply, "I am enough." Say it as you would to a dear friend who is hurting. Feel the weight of the words, not as a grand declaration, but as a gentle return to your true nature. What happens when you truly believe it? The tightness eases. The comparison fades. You feel the quiet strength that was always there, beneath the noise. This whisper is not about grand achievement. It is about recognizing your inherent worth, exactly as you are, right here, right now. This simple act of whispering "I am enough" dissolves the illusion that fuels the pain. It does not deny the challenges of life, but it releases the false burden of measuring yourself against a fantasy. You're not missing out. You're already whole. The comparison was never about others. It was a reflection of your own forgotten truth. Now we shift from understanding the pain of this illusion to seeing the nature of the illusion itself. Feel that familiar tightness in your chest when you scroll past someone else's perfect moment. That pang, the flicker of wanting what they seem to have, that is envy, the quiet echo of comparison. It is comparison's emotional twin, born from a hidden belief that life's good things are scarce, that there is not enough love, success, or joy to go around. We see a highlight reel of another's life and feel we are missing out, as if our own journey is somehow less because it doesn't mirror theirs. This is scarcity thinking whispering lies to our hearts. Notice this feeling without judgment. Don't push it away or beat yourself up for feeling it. Simply observe. There's the comparison story again. It is not a reflection of your worth, but a story your mind is weaving from a place of lack. When envy arises, pause. Feel the space between breaths. Notice the physical sensation, the slight tightness, the quickened pulse, and gently name it envy. Not as a flaw, but as a signal pointing to where we've forgotten our own abundance. Imagine standing before a still pond on a clear morning. You see your reflection perfectly clear, yet you also see the reflections of other trees and clouds around you. Do you feel envy for the trees reflected in the water? Do you think the clouds have more beauty than your own reflection? Of course not. The pond simply holds what is there without preference, without comparison. It does not measure itself against the clouds or the trees. This is how we can return to our true nature, unshaken by external images, knowing our worth is not borrowed from others' moments. So ask yourself now, gently, what would you do if you felt no envy toward others today? Not what you would say, but what you would simply be. Would you notice the beauty in your own work without measuring it against someone else's? Would you offer kindness to yourself as easily as you might to a friend? Would you sit quietly with your own life, feeling its fullness, without needing to see it through the lens of another's curated highlight? This is not about becoming perfect. It is about remembering that you are already complete, exactly as you are in this moment, with all your ordinary, imperfect, deeply human steps. When you feel envy rise, breathe. Acknowledge the story without letting it become your truth. Say softly to yourself, I see you, envy, but I am not defined by you. Then let the feeling pass like a cloud through the sky without holding on. This practice is not about suppressing emotion, but about releasing the grip of scarcity. It is the quiet unfolding of knowing that your life, your path, your joy are not diminished by the existence of others' light. This gentle shift, seeing envy as a passing cloud, not a permanent storm, allows us to step out of the comparison trap. We begin to see others not as threats to our own worth, but as fellow travelers on the same path, each with their own unique journey. The tightness in the chest softens. The need to measure fades. What remains is the simple, profound truth. We are enough, just as we are, And this is the freedom that lets us truly see others, not as reflections of what we lack, but as beautiful, whole beings in their own right. This leads us to see social media not as reality, but as a mirror. Consider the quiet moment you just had before opening your phone. Perhaps you felt the warmth of sunlight on your skin or heard birdsong outside your window. Now imagine how much of that simple presence was lost the moment you scrolled through someone else's perfect vacation photo or heard about a colleague's promotion. This is the daily cost of comparison we rarely notice until it accumulates. It doesn't just create a momentary pang of envy, it subtly steals the very moments that make life rich. We trade the texture of our own breath for the curated highlight reel of another's life, and over time, this adds up to a profound erosion of our inner peace. In the Zen tradition, we often speak of the mind as a clear mirror. When we compare, we cloud that mirror with the reflection of others. We see our own life through the distorted lens of someone else's curated story. A monk once sat by a mountain stream, watching the water flow. A traveler passing by remarked on the beauty of the distant peaks. The monk simply nodded and said, "The mountains are beautiful now, but they were beautiful yesterday too, and they will be tomorrow. Why look away from what is here?" This simple observation reveals the cost. Comparison pulls us from the present flow of life into a river of what might be or what others have, leaving us disconnected from the actual water we are walking through. This habit of comparison fuels a quiet anxiety we call FOMO, fear of missing out. It's not just about missing a party, it's about missing the quiet joy of your own morning tea, the sound of your child's laughter, or the satisfaction of finishing a task you started. How much of your today was spent comparing versus truly living? Did you glance at a friend's post and feel a pang of inadequacy while your own work sat unfinished? Did you scroll past your own accomplishments because they seemed small next to someone else's grand display? Each time we do this, we pay a price. We pay in attention that could have nurtured our own growth. We pay in energy that could have eased our own stress. We pay in the quiet, unrepeatable moments that form the foundation of a life well lived. Reflect now without judgment. Notice the next time your phone lights up with a social media update. What happens in your body? Does your chest tighten? Do you find yourself thinking, "Why isn't my life like that?" This awareness is the first step. It's not about stopping the thought, it's about seeing it clearly, like a cloud passing through the sky, and gently returning to the ground beneath your feet. Ask yourself, what am I missing right now because I'm looking elsewhere? Is it the taste of my coffee? The quiet hum of my home? The simple fact that I am here, exactly as I am, with my own unique path unfolding? This is where the illusion begins to fade. When we stop measuring our journey against others' snapshots, we reclaim our attention. We see that the mountain the traveler admired was always there, beautiful and present, whether anyone noticed it or not. Our own journey, with its own pace and its own unfolding beauty, is not diminished by another's path. It is simply different, and it is enough. The cost of comparison is not just a feeling, It is the daily theft of our own presence, moment by moment. But in the space of that awareness, we begin to see the freedom that comes from letting go. Now we turn our attention to the carefully constructed worlds we see online. We will explore the illusion behind every perfect photo, every seemingly effortless success, and discover why these images are not a mirror of reality, but a reflection of a carefully chosen moment. Consider the gentle awareness we cultivated in the last chapter, that quiet noticing of envy as a signal not of lack, but of our own completeness. You recognized how measuring your life against others' highlights drains your presence, leaving a subtle ache. Now, let us turn our gaze to the very stage where these highlights are projected, the world of social media, and see it for what it truly is, a shimmering illusion, a beautiful mirage on the desert of our digital lives. Online personas, those carefully crafted feeds of perfect moments, are not reality. They are staged performances, like actors in a play, designed to showcase a particular version of life. We scroll, drawn to the promise of connection and fulfillment they offer. Much like a traveler sees a mirage in the desert and believes it holds water. The mirage promises relief, a cool drink, but when you approach, it dissolves into heat and sand. Similarly, these curated online lives promise a deeper satisfaction. A life lived more fully, but when you look closely, when you step beyond the screen and into your own reality, the illusion vanishes. The flawless vacation photos hide the messy travel delays. The effortless yoga pose masks the struggle to balance. The constant joy masks the ordinary, quiet moments of simply being. This is not deceit, but the nature of the stage itself. It is meant to be a performance, a reflection, not the substance. Think of a classic Zen teaching about the moon reflected in a still pond. The moonlight is real, but the reflection is a dependent appearance, a temporary gathering of water and light. We often mistake the reflection for the moon itself, chasing the image on the surface while the real moon remains unchanged, serene and distant. Social media feeds are like that reflection, beautiful, captivating, but entirely dependent on the surface we look at, not the reality beneath. We chase the reflection, believing it to be the source of our happiness, while the real moon, our own authentic life, with its imperfections and quiet moments, continues to shine, untouched by the digital distortion. So, gently ask yourself, what perfect life are you comparing your own to right now? Is it the vacation in Bali? The effortless success? The seemingly endless joy? Now, pause. What is the truth beneath that image? What does your own life feel like when you step away from the screen, into the quiet hum of your kitchen, the shared silence with a friend, the simple act of breathing without an audience? What is the reality that exists beyond the carefully framed moment? Is it the same as the reflection, or is it something more real, more deeply yours? This simple act of looking beneath the surface, of recognizing the performance for what it is not about judgment. It is a gentle awakening. It is the quiet realization that the mirage cannot quench your thirst. but your own wellspring of presence can. It is seeing the impermanence woven into the very fabric of the digital highlight. The moment is already gone. The performance is fleeting, and the reflection will always be a reflection, never the moon. This illusion, this beautiful yet empty reflection, reveals why digital lives are impermanent, why clinging to them only deepens the thirst. It invites us to turn our gaze inward, to the unchanging moon of our own being, where true peace and belonging already reside. Imagine scrolling through your feed, a quiet ache settling in your chest as you pause on a photo of a perfect beach sunset, a life seemingly effortless and joyful. You might think, this is what I'm missing. But consider this. That image isn't a window into someone else's reality. It's a mirror reflecting your own longing, your own habitual comparisons, your own unspoken wish for something more. The curated highlight reel you see isn't the truth of another person's life. It's a reflection of your own mind's patterns, a ripple in the still water of your awareness. When you feel that pang of inadequacy watching a friend's travel adventure or a colleague's professional triumph, you are not seeing their life clearly. You are seeing the echo of your own inner voice whispering, I should be there. I should be like that. That feeling isn't about them. It's a signal about your own inner landscape. Think of the ancient Zen story of the monk who stood before a still pond. He saw his own face reflected in the water, clear and undisturbed. He realized the pond didn't create his image. It simply showed him what was already there. Social media is like that pond. The images and stories flowing past you aren't created by the people posting them as separate realities. They are the surface of the water reflecting the sky above, your own mind's sky of desire, fear, or comparison. The perfect post you encounter isn't a distant shore. It's the shape your own restless thoughts make on the surface of your awareness. When you scroll and feel that tightness in your shoulders, that sudden thought of why isn't my life like that? Pause. Notice the physical sensation. Where does it live in your body? What specific thought arises? Is it, I need more security, I should be more adventurous, or I'm not enough? This reaction isn't about the person in the photo. It's a direct window into your own unmet need, your own current state of mind, your anger at a perceived flaw in another's life. That's likely a mirror showing your own harsh judgment of yourself, your envy of a friend's success. That's a reflection of your own unspoken aspiration or fear of falling behind. This is the gentle awakening of the mirror. It asks us to turn our gaze inward, not outward. Instead of chasing the illusion of others' perfection, we see the reflection of our own habitual patterns. We see that the very thing we crave to find in others, happiness, freedom, connection, is already present within us, obscured only by the noise of comparison. The perfect post isn't a target to reach. It's a signpost pointing back to our own heart. This recognition isn't about blaming yourself for feeling this way. It's simply about seeing clearly, with compassion, the pattern that has been running beneath the surface of your awareness. It's the quiet moment of recognition. Ah, This feeling is mine, not theirs. It's the shift from "they have it, I don't" to "I'm feeling this right now, and it's okay to see it." This is where wisdom begins. We stop seeing social media as a distant stage where others perform, and we see it as the mirror we hold up to our own minds. The images fade as we recognize they are reflections, not realities. And as we recognize the reflection for what it is, we naturally begin to release the grip on the illusion. Understanding impermanence helps us release attachment to these illusions. Notice how your favorite post from yesterday already feels distant, a faint echo in the stream of new updates. That perfect photo, the celebrated moment, the trending comment all seem permanent in the moment they appear. Yet look closely, and you see how quickly they fade into the background, replaced by something newer, brighter, or simply different. Likes that once felt like validation now sit quietly, forgotten in the scroll. Trends that defined a week vanish before the month ends. This is the quiet truth of digital life. It is not a fixed landscape, but a flowing river, always changing. Your life is not a highlight reel you curate for others to see. It is the continuous, gentle flow of moments, some bright, some ordinary, some quiet, happening right now, not as a performance, but as a simple, unfolding reality. The digital world shows us a reflection of this flow, but only a temporary ripple on the surface. Imagine sitting by a still pond on a calm morning. A single stone drops gently into the water. Ripples spread out, clear and perfect for a moment, catching the light, creating a temporary pattern of beauty. You watch them, drawn in by their shape. But they do not stay. The ripples shrink, blend back into the water, and the surface becomes smooth again, as if nothing had happened. This is how digital content exists. The post, the like, the moment of connection, they form their own ripples, shine brightly for a time, and then dissolve. They were never meant to be permanent. They were simply a moment of water meeting air, a brief expression of something passing through. This is the wisdom of impermanence. When you understand that the vibrant post, the sudden flurry of attention, the viral moment, all of it is like those ripples, temporary and fleeting, you begin to see your own relationship with the feed differently. You no longer chase the next high point, the next validation, because you know it will fade. You stop comparing your quiet morning to someone else's carefully staged sunset. You see that the highlight reel you scroll through is not a mirror of their life, nor a standard for yours. It is simply a momentary ripple, as transient as your own thoughts. Reflect gently on this. When you scroll through your feed, do you see a static picture waiting for you to measure yourself against it? Or do you see the flow of moments, the temporary ripples, knowing that everything is changing, just like the water in the pond? How does remembering that even your own online presence is impermanent change the way you engage? Does it invite you to pause more often, to notice the real moments happening right now, rather than seeking them in a curated stream? This awareness softens the grip of comparison. It reminds you that true presence is not found in the feed, but in the quiet, continuous flow of your own life as it is, right now. This understanding invites us to step into mindful engagement. It is not about turning away from the digital world, but about entering it with open eyes and a gentle heart, knowing that all content is temporary. It is the foundation for moving beyond comparison into a deeper, quieter way of being. Imagine sitting by a still pond in a quiet garden, watching a single drop fall. A perfect circle expands, ripples move outward, then fade back into stillness. This simple moment holds a truth we often miss online, on social media. Every like, comment, or share is like that ripple, a beautiful circle of attention that appears, moves through the water, and vanishes without a trace. It is not a permanent mark, but a momentary echo. We chase these ripples, believing they hold meaning, that they confirm our worth. Yet they are as temporary as bubbles in a stream, popping the moment they form, leaving only the water's calm beneath. This is the cycle we create when we seek validation from others' reactions. Each notification brings a fleeting spark of warmth, a sense of being seen. But as quickly as the warmth arrives, it fades, leaving behind a quiet, hollow space. We scroll, hoping for the next ripple to fill that emptiness, but the cycle only deepens. We mistake the surface shine for substance, forgetting that the water beneath remains unchanged. The validation we seek is not in the likes themselves, but in the story we tell ourselves about them, story that dissolves as soon as the screen goes dark. Remember that moment after a post you thought would go viral? You felt the buzz, the excitement, the sense of connection. Then, as the attention faded, what remained? Not joy, but a quiet ache, a feeling of emptiness where the validation once was. That is the nature of seeking external proof. It is a well that never fills. In a Zen tea room, a monk once observed this clearly. He watched the tea leaves float gently on the surface of his bowl, catching the light. A moment later, they sank, leaving only the clear water. He did not grasp at the floating leaves or mourn their sinking. He simply noticed them as they were, present, then gone. No need to hold them. No need to chase their return. The water remained calm, unshaken by the passing dance. This is the wisdom we can carry into our digital lives. The likes are the floating leaves, the momentary beauty, the fleeting attention. The water beneath is our true nature, calm and whole. Whether the leaves float or sink, we are not the ripples, we are the pond. Reflect gently now. When was the last time you felt that hollow after a post received many likes? Not the excitement of the moment, but the quiet emptiness that followed. Notice how the mind clung to the ripple, then grasped for more. See that this cycle is not about others, it is about our own need to feel complete through external signs. The emptiness arises because we mistake the ripple for the pond. The pond is always there, unchanging. It does not need the ripple to be whole. Let this understanding settle, like the ripples in the garden pond. Feel the calm beneath the surface of your own mind. You are not the post, not the likes, not the comments. You are the space where all these things appear and disappear. This is the peace that comes from seeing the illusion for what it is, temporary, like bubbles on the water, never meant to hold. Now, as we gently step away from the screen, let us carry this calm into our next moment. We will practice mindful interaction with social media, not as a cycle of seeking, but as a simple awareness of what is here, now, without needing to fill the space. Imagine the gentle rhythm of your breath as you sit with your device, the glow of the screen casting soft light on your face. In a world that moves at the speed of a scroll, we often lose ourselves in the current without noticing the water beneath. This is where mindful scrolling begins, not with grand gestures, but with a simple, soft pause every few minutes. As you feel the urge to swipe, pause. Gently ask yourself, why am I scrolling? What do I need right now? Not what the screen offers, but what your heart truly seeks in this moment. Is it connection, rest, a moment of calm, or perhaps just a quiet space to breathe? This pause is not a stoppage of life, but a return to it. To anchor yourself, use a simple physical cue. Stretch your arms slowly upward as if reaching for the sky, feeling the quiet release in your shoulders. Or take one slow, deep breath in through your nose, holding it lightly, then exhale fully. Feel the space between the scroll and the next action. This small reset is a bridge back to your own presence, away from the endless stream of others' highlights. It is a practice of returning to the pond, not the ripples. Consider this: a monk once sat by a still pond, watching a single leaf drift across its surface. He did not chase the leaf, nor judge its path. He simply observed its movement, knowing the pond remained unchanged beneath the passing moment. When you pause your scroll, you become that monk. You notice the leaf, the fleeting image, the quick comparison without becoming lost in its movement. You see the emotion that arises, perhaps a flicker of envy, a pang of longing, or even a quiet sense of calm. Acknowledge it without judgment. Say softly, "This feeling is here, and it will pass just like the leaf on the water." Reflect on your own experience today. When you paused, what did you feel? Did the tightness in your chest soften? Did you notice a sudden clarity about what you truly needed? A glass of water, a walk, a moment of silence. This reflection is not about fixing anything, but about understanding the current of your own mind. It is the quiet work of recognizing that the comparison you feel is a wave, not the ocean. The pond beneath, the steady, unchanging awareness within you remains. This awareness is the foundation for something deeper. It is not about deleting apps or abandoning connection. It is about cultivating a gentle, intentional relationship with the digital world. Each pause, each breath, each moment of noticing the emotion without being swept away builds your capacity to see the screen as a tool, not a master. It allows you to move beyond the temporary ripples of others' lives and rest in the stillness of your own being. This quiet practice of mindful scrolling breaks is the first step toward curating a digital environment that supports your peace, not erodes it. It is how we begin to transform the noise into a space where we can truly see ourselves and others with clarity, without the distortion of comparison. The pond remains, the ripples pass, and with each pause, you return to the calm center within. Welcome to this moment of mindful presence. As you sit with your device, pause not just before you scroll, but before you absorb. Let the gentle rhythm of your breath anchor you here, not in the fleeting currents of the digital stream. Remember the calm realization from before. We are not the ripples of online validation, but the unchanging pond beneath them. Now, let this awareness guide your content consumption, not as a chore, but as a simple, nourishing practice. Ask yourself softly, before your finger moves, does this nourish or drain me? This question is not about judgment, but about deep listening to your own inner well-being. Does the post spark genuine warmth or a quiet hum of comparison? Does it align with the values you hold dear, or does it echo someone else's carefully curated highlight reel, a distorted mirror reflecting only a fraction of their reality? Consider the ancient Zen monk sitting by the mountain stream. He observes the clouds drifting across the sky, their shapes shifting with the wind. He sees them as they are, without measuring them against other clouds, without wishing his own sky looked like theirs. He does not chase the fleeting patterns, nor does he feel diminished by the clouds that seem more dramatic. He simply observes, his mind as clear and steady as the water below. This is the essence of mindful content consumption. You are not meant to chase the next viral moment or measure your life against the impossible perfection you see online. Your peace is not found in the content itself, but in the quality of your attention to it. Choose what resonates with your true self, not what the algorithm or others deem valuable. Choose what makes you feel rooted in your own being, not pulled into the quicksand of comparison. Take a breath now. Reflect gently on your own experience today. What one post, perhaps a simple photo of a child laughing, a quiet moment in nature, or even a short, honest thought, made you feel grounded instead of comparing? Not the post that got the most likes, but the one that quietly settled your spirit, reminded you of your own presence, or aligned with something deeply true for you. That is the nourishment you seek. That is the alignment you cultivate. Not by seeking more, but by recognizing what already supports your peace. This reflection is not about fixing yourself or your feed. It is about recognizing the natural rhythm of your own well-being. When you notice what truly nourishes you, the path becomes clear. You begin to see the difference between content that feeds your spirit and content that feeds your anxiety. You start to understand that your worth is not measured by the number of likes on a photo, but by the quiet certainty of your own presence in this moment. Having reflected on what grounds you, the next step is to gently remove what distracts. We will actively curate your digital space to support your peace, not erode it. Imagine your phone resting quietly beside you, not buzzing with demands, but holding a gentle stillness. This quiet space is not empty. It is where your attention, your presence, and your true self begin to reclaim their natural rhythm. In the rush of digital life, notifications often arrive like insistent guests, creating a subtle urgency that pulls you away from the moment. Notice how a simple ping triggers a quickening breath, a flicker of comparison, or an immediate urge to check what others are sharing. This is the moment when the algorithm's pull meets your inner reaction, often without you even realizing it. Turning off non-essential notifications is not about disconnecting from the world, it is about reconnecting with your own inner compass. It is a simple, deliberate act of honoring your time as sacred. When you silence the non-essential alerts, the likes, the updates, the endless scroll prompts, you create room for awareness to breathe. You step away from the constant comparison that whispers, others are living more fully, more joyfully, more perfectly than you. Instead, you return to the quiet hum of your own life, where a deep peace begins to settle. Consider the ancient story of the monk by the river. The water rushed past, loud and chaotic. Yet the monk sat unmoved, his mind calm as still water. He did not turn to watch the river's turmoil. He turned inward, finding peace within the flow. Notifications are like that rushing river, external, noisy, pulling you toward the current of others' lives. But when you choose to silence them, you become the monk. You sit by your own river, observing the flow without being swept away. You notice how your shoulders relax, how your thoughts slow, how the day unfolds with a different quality, less fragmented, more whole. Reflect now on a single day when you silence those pings. How did your day feel without the constant digital interruptions? Did you notice the quiet moments you usually missed? The warmth of sunlight on your face? The sound of your own breath? The ease of finishing a task without distraction? Did you feel a gentle shift in your relationship with time? Not as something to be filled, but as something to be lived. This is the quiet wisdom that comes from reclaiming your attention. It is not about missing out. It is about finally being present for what matters. This practice of mindful notification management is not an endpoint. It is a gentle invitation to move deeper into your own presence. As you step away from the noise, you naturally begin to see what truly nourishes you and what pulls you away. You notice which content sparks comparison and which brings calm. This awareness, cultivated through silence, leads you to the next step, unfollowing those triggers that no longer serve your peace. The quiet space you create now is not empty. It is full of possibility. It is where you remember who you are beyond the screen, beyond the comparison, beyond the need to measure yourself against the world. And in that remembering, you find the simplest, most profound wisdom of all. Imagine the quiet space between breaths, the space where true presence lives. Now, consider how often that space gets filled with the constant buzz of digital noise. This is the heart of digital minimalism practice. It begins not with grand gestures, but with simple, sacred choices made in the quiet moments before you reach for your device. Reduce your apps to only what truly serves your life, what nourishes your spirit and supports your well-being. Delete the rest, the endless scroll of comparison, the apps that pull you into the frantic dance of the algorithm. Let go of the unnecessary, not out of scarcity, but out of profound respect for your own precious time and attention. Set time limits for social media, not as a restriction, but as a sacred practice, like setting aside time for meditation. Treat those minutes as a precious offering to your presence, not a duty to be endured. When the timer sounds, gently close the app. Return to the room, to the breath, to the simple reality of this moment. Think of a traditional tea ceremony. The practitioner prepares only the essential elements: the teapot, the bowl, the whisk, the water. Every unnecessary object is removed from the space. Why? To create a clear, undistracted field where the act of preparing and drinking tea becomes a profound meditation. The absence of clutter isn't emptiness. It's the space where the deep, quiet beauty of the moment can fully emerge. This is the essence of digital minimalism. By removing the non-essential apps and setting clear boundaries, you create a similar sacred space within your digital life. You clear the visual clutter of feeds filled with others' curated highlights, making room for the quiet clarity of your own experience. You reclaim the space where your own thoughts, feelings, and presence can be felt, not drowned out by the noise of comparison. Now, take a moment of quiet reflection. What space did you create in your life by simplifying your feeds? Not just physical space on your phone, but the inner space that opens up when the constant comparison fades. Perhaps it's the space to truly notice the color of the leaves outside your window, the sound of your own breath, or the simple pleasure of finishing a book without checking your phone. Perhaps it's the space to feel a deeper connection with the person sitting across from you, without the subtle distraction of wondering what others are doing online. This space is not empty. It is filled with the quiet hum of your own authentic life, unmeasured against anyone else's. It is the space where you can finally hear your own voice, the voice of your true self, speaking softly above the digital static. This practice is not about deprivation, it is about profound generosity. You are generously giving your attention back to your life, back to the only life you ever truly have to live. You are giving yourself the gift of being fully present within the unique, unfolding journey that is yours alone. The space you create through this simplicity is not merely absence, it is the fertile ground where your own path can grow, unhindered by the shadows of others' light. With a curated feed, we embrace our unique path. Scrolling through feeds, you see polished moments, perfect meals, effortless journeys, radiant smiles. A quiet ache stirs within you. You compare your messy kitchen to someone else's staged dining table, your ordinary day to a curated highlight reel. Yet your path unfolds in a language only you speak, woven with threads no one else can trace. No two journeys are identical. Your struggles, your small triumphs, the quiet moments of grace you've weathered alone, they belong solely to you. The joy in your heart when you finally understand a difficult lesson, the strength you found after a fall, the way your own laughter sounds in your living room on a Tuesday morning, these are yours alone, irreplaceable as your fingerprint. Comparison ignores the invisible work behind others' posts. That flawless mountain hike, it likely followed hours of packing, a tough climb, maybe a missed bus. That serene morning coffee, it arrived after a sleepless night, a difficult conversation, or simply the quiet courage to begin again. We see the polished stone, not the chisel marks, the riverbed, the patient hands shaping it. We mistake the reflection for the whole river. Your path, too, has its unseen labor, the quiet persistence, the moments you chose to keep going when no one watched, the lessons learned in the dark. This is the sacred work of your unfolding, not meant to be measured against another's surface. So pause. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Not the ground in someone else's photo, but your own, real, unvarnished earth. Reflect what makes your path irreplaceable. Not what you've achieved, but what you're becoming in this very moment. Write one thing. Maybe it's the way you comfort a friend when they're hurting. The way your hands create something tangible. The way you find peace in a single breath after a storm. Perhaps it's the specific way you carry your own history, the unique blend of your laughter and tears. Write that one thing down. Not for others to see, but for your own heart to remember. This is your path, and it is complete as it is right now. This understanding, this quiet knowing of your own unique unfolding, is not a destination. It is the very ground beneath your feet as you walk. It is the fertile soil where your authentic presence takes root. You don't need to be like anyone else's highlight reel to be whole. Your path is not a competition, it is a sacred offering, unique and necessary in the world. The river flows at its own pace, carving its own path through the mountains. It does not compare itself to the ocean, it simply is. So too with you. Your journey is not meant to mirror another's. It is meant to be lived fully in its own time, with its own rhythm. This truth deepens when we actively release comparison, not as a struggle, but as a gentle return to the only path that has ever been yours, the one you walk, right here, right now. As you sit in the quiet space reclaimed from the constant buzz of the digital world, feel the gentle shift within you. This is the fertile ground where your unique path begins to unfold, not as a destination to be raced toward, but as a quiet, ongoing story written in your own time. You are not meant to measure your steps against the hurried pace of others or fit into the carefully curated shapes of their journeys. Release the weight of the shoulds that whisper how your life ought to look, how many milestones you should have reached by now, or what your path should resemble. These are echoes of comparison, not your truth. They pull you away from the simple, profound reality of where you stand right now. Consider the river flowing through the ancient forest. It does not rush to match the speed of the mountain stream, nor does it linger to mimic the slow meander of the marsh. It simply moves with the contours of the land, the pull of the earth, its own unique rhythm. It gathers water where it finds it, flows around obstacles without resistance, and finds its way to the sea, not through comparison, but through its inherent nature. This is your path. It has its own current, its own seasons of stillness and flow, its own necessary bends and turns. Your growth is not a linear race to be won, but a deepening into your own being, moment by moment, as natural and essential as the river's journey. So take a breath now. Feel the weight of comparison lift, just a little. Ask yourself gently, what would you do if you weren't comparing to anyone?
What would you create?
Who would you be with? What small act of kindness would you offer? Simply because it feels true to your heart, not because it might look good on a screen or meet someone else's expectation. Imagine the space where the shoulds were once heavy, replaced by a lightness, a clarity about what truly matters to you. This is not about ignoring others, but about returning to your own center. It is about recognizing that your journey, with all its unique twists and quiet moments, is already enough, exactly as it is unfolding. Your path is sacred and irreplaceable, not because it is perfect, but because it is yours. This is the gentle practice of embracing your path. It is not about striving for a different version of yourself, but about seeing clearly the one who is already here, walking this path with you. It is about releasing the need to be someone else's benchmark and finding peace in the rhythm of your own unfolding. When you truly see your path as your own sacred story, not a comparison point, a deep shift happens. You stop looking outward for validation and begin to recognize the inherent worth that has always been within you, simply by being you. Recognizing your worth completes this shift. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your breath. Notice the quiet space around you, unbroken by the constant buzz of the digital world. This stillness is not empty. It is full of your inherent presence. Today, let us gently release the heavy burden of comparison that social media so often places upon us. Your journey, your unique unfolding, is not a race to be measured against others. It is a sacred path, walked exactly as it is meant to be walked, step by step, breath by breath. Your worth is complete. It does not require the validation of light, the accumulation of achievements, or the subtle adjustment of yourself to fit someone else's perceived standard. This is the gentle truth you may have forgotten amidst the noise. Comparison arises not from seeing others, but from a quiet, persistent belief within that you are somehow lacking, that you need to be more to be worthy of your own existence. This belief is the root of the ache we feel when scrolling through curated lives. It is a story we tell ourselves, not a reflection of reality. Imagine the moon reflecting perfectly in a still pond. The moon's light is whole, undiminished, and complete, regardless of whether the water is calm or disturbed by a ripple. It does not become more or less the moon because of the ripples. Your essence, your true self, is like that moon. It is whole, complete and radiant exactly as you are right now. In this moment, with all your imperfections and your quiet strengths. The ripples of comparison, the flickering lights of others' highlight reels, do not change your inherent light. They only disturb the stillness of your awareness for a moment. So, take this moment to turn your gaze inward. Reflect gently. What would you say to a dear friend who felt unworthy today? Who felt they weren't enough because of what they saw online or what they hadn't yet achieved? What words of kindness, of deep understanding, would you offer them? Perhaps you would say, "You are enough exactly as you are right now." You would remind them of their own inherent worth, not tied to any external measure. Now, bring that same compassion, that same clear understanding to yourself. Whisper these words to your own heart. I am complete. I am whole. My worth is not earned. It is simply here in this breath, in this moment of being. This is not self-indulgence. It is the profound recognition of your true nature. Let this understanding sink into your bones, not as a new idea, but as the quiet, unshakable truth you have always known. Feel the weight of comparison lifting, replaced by a deep, calm liberation. This inner peace, this unshakable sense of your own completeness, is not something you build. It is the natural state of your being when you stop seeking validation from outside. It is the foundation that allows you to simply be fully present in the rhythm of your own life, without the need to measure against the rhythm of another. This inner peace becomes the foundation for mindful presence. In the constant stream of curated lives scrolling past us, it's easy to feel the pull of comparison, to measure our quiet moments against others' highlight reels. We see the milestones achieved, the travels shared, the seemingly effortless joy, and a quiet doubt whispers, "Is my path slow? Is my progress enough?" This is the natural echo of the age we live in. Yet, it is also a misunderstanding of the very essence of our journey. Your growth happens in your own time and space, unfolding with its own rhythm, its own seasons, its own necessary pauses. Others' journeys are not your benchmark. They are their own story, written in a different language, on a different map. To compare is to mistake their path for your own, to forget that every single step you take, however small it seems, is part of a unique and sacred unfolding. It is not about being ahead or behind, it is about being fully present within your own unfolding. Consider the bamboo forest. Each stalk rises at its own pace, reaching for the light in its own way. One might shoot tall and straight, another might grow slowly, thick and sturdy. They do not look at their neighbors and feel inadequate because they are not growing as fast. They simply are. They are nourished by the same sun, the same rain, the same earth, each in their own time. They do not compare their height to the next bamboo. They simply grow. This is the natural order of things. Your life is not a race against others' timelines, nor a mirror reflecting their achievements. It is a quiet, persistent unfolding, as natural and necessary as bamboo reaching for the sky. The forest does not judge the slow-growing bamboo, it simply accepts it as part of the whole. So too, your journey is inherently valid exactly as it unfolds, without comparison to others. Pause now. Gently close your eyes if it feels right. Bring your awareness to the rhythm of your own breath. When did you last feel truly at peace with your own pace? Was it sitting quietly by a river, watching the water flow without hurry? Was it in the simple act of tending a garden, seeing the small green shoots emerge without rushing? Was it during a moment of deep connection, where time dissolved and you simply existed, unmeasured, uncomparing? That feeling of peace, that deep sense of being exactly where you need to be, is not a rare event. It is the natural state of your being when you release the need to measure against the world outside. It is the calm liberation from comparison's weight, the embrace of your inherent wholeness. That peace is not earned through comparison. It is remembered when we let go of the comparison. This recognition of your inherent worth, complete and whole right now, is not a destination. It is the foundation. It is the quiet knowing that you need no external validation. No perfect social media post. No other person's journey to confirm your existence. This inner peace, this deep acceptance of your own unique path, becomes the very ground from which you can live mindfully, fully present in the moment. It is the shift from seeing your path as separate from others to understanding it as an essential thread in the vast, beautiful tapestry of life, woven with its own distinct pattern. This recognition of your inherent worth completes the shift toward living from your sacred path. Now, anchor yourself in this present moment, where your path is already unfolding, exactly as it should. In the constant stream of curated lives flashing across our screens, it's easy to feel pulled away from where we truly are. We scroll, comparing our quiet mornings to others' seemingly perfect adventures, and find ourselves caught in the grip of regret for moments past or anxiety about what might come. This pull into the past or future, this habit of measuring ourselves against the digital world, leaves us feeling perpetually behind, never quite enough. But what if the only place you need to be is right here, right now? What if your worth isn't found in the scroll, but in the simple fact of your presence? Let your attention gently return to your breath. Feel the natural rhythm of air entering and leaving your body. With each inhale, acknowledge the quiet space within. With each exhale, release the subtle tension of comparison. Softly whisper to yourself, or simply feel the truth. I am here, now, exactly as I am. No need to be different. No need to be more. This moment, with its ordinary sounds and sensations, is already complete. It is not a waiting room for a better time. It is the only time you have. Think of the simple act of making tea. The water begins to hum softly on the stove. You lift the teapot, feeling the warmth of the ceramic through your fingers. You watch the steam rise in delicate spirals, a small, silent dance in the air. You notice the quiet sound of the kettle, the way the light catches the steam, the gentle weight of the cup in your hands. You are not thinking of the next post, the next comparison, or the next task. You are simply here, experiencing the unfolding of this single, ordinary moment. The tea is not a distraction, it is the doorway. In this small act, you are fully present. Not lost in thought, but fully alive. Now, bring this awareness gently to this very moment. Pause for just 3 breaths. Notice one small thing you are experiencing right now. Is it the softness of your clothing against your skin? The distant sound of birds outside? The feeling of your feet on the floor? The quiet hum of the room? Noticing this small detail isn't about adding something new, it's about recognizing what is already here. Beneath the noise of comparison, it's a quiet return to the ground of your own being, where you are always already whole and complete. This simple noticing, this gentle return to breath and sensation, is the foundation. It is not a grand achievement, but a small, consistent choice to step out of the comparison trap and step into the richness of your own life. It is the practice of knowing yourself as you are, in this very moment. This awareness deepens into mindful pauses throughout the day. As you move through your tasks, pause for a single breath. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Notice the light on your face. Carry this quiet recognition with you, knowing that your path unfolds perfectly within this present moment, exactly as it should. As you settle into this quiet space, notice how the gentle rhythm of your breath softens the edges of the day. You carry the quiet recognition from the last moment that your worth is found not in measuring yourself against others, but in the simple, unfolding reality of this very breath. Now, let us gently turn our attention to the ground beneath us, the air around us, the immediate world that holds you right here, right now. Social media feeds may pull your gaze outward, but true presence invites you inward to the anchor of your senses. Take a slow breath. What do you see? Perhaps the way sunlight dapples the leaves outside the window, or the soft curve of your coffee cup resting on the table. What do you hear? The distant hum of the city, the quiet sigh of the wind, or the steady rhythm of your own heartbeat? What do you feel? The cool smoothness of the chair beneath you, the gentle pressure of your feet on the floor, the warmth of the air on your skin. These are not distractions. They are your lifelines back from the endless loop of comparison. Each time you notice the texture of your sweater, the taste of cool water, the sound of a bird singing, you are gently pulling yourself from the trap of wondering how your life measures up to the curated highlights of someone else's screen. You are returning to the only place where your life truly exists, the present moment. This simple act of noticing is not passive. It is a quiet rebellion against the constant noise of comparison. It is the practice of remembering you are already whole, already enough, exactly as you are in this ordinary, beautiful now. Reflect for a moment. When you truly notice the steam rising from your morning tea, the way the light catches dust motes in the air, or the soft sound of your own breathing. How does that shift your inner landscape? Does the tightness in your shoulders ease? Does the quiet hum of anxiety soften into something more spacious? Does a small, unexpected peace settle in your chest? This is the gentle transformation that happens when we stop comparing and start noticing. The comparison trap thrives on distance. It asks you to look at a life that feels far away, perfect and unattainable. But the senses bring you back home, to the life you are already living, with all its imperfections and quiet wonders. You don't need to scroll to find meaning. Meaning is already here, in the warmth of the sunbeam on your arm, in the sound of rain on the roof, in the simple act of being present with what is. This noticing is not a task to complete. It is a way of being, a gentle return to yourself again and again. It requires no special tools, no extra time, only the willingness to pause and truly see. You might find yourself pausing while waiting for the bus, noticing the pattern of clouds above, or pausing while washing dishes, feeling the water's temperature and the rhythm of your hands. Each small anchor, each moment of sensory awareness, builds a bridge between the digital noise and your embodied truth. It reminds you that your path is not a race, not a competition, but a slow, unfolding journey of presence. One breath, one sensation, one moment at a time. And as you practice this gentle return to the now, you discover that the art of pausing becomes a daily practice, woven into the fabric of your ordinary day. It is not about adding more to your life, but about releasing the weight of comparison that has been holding you elsewhere. You are already here. You are already enough. Now, take one more breath, feeling the cool air enter your lungs, and let this quiet knowing anchor you once more. Imagine your phone lights up again. A fresh scroll of curated lives flashing across the screen. Your fingers hover, ready to swipe, to compare, to feel the familiar tug of inadequacy. This is the moment, right here, where the digital current meets your breath. Instead of letting the scroll pull you under, create a tiny space. Just one breath. A micro pause before you react. Let this be your anchor in the flow of the digital stream. Inhale slowly, feeling the air fill your lungs. Gently whisper to yourself, "This is not my life." Not the perfect vacation, the effortless success, the flawless smile you see. This is a moment of another person's story, not your own. Exhale, releasing the subtle tension in your shoulders. Feel the weight of the comparison lift. Whisper softly, "I am here now." Feel the solid ground beneath you, the quiet hum of the room, the simple fact of your own breath filling your body. This breath is not a distraction. It is the very foundation of your presence. It is the only moment you truly have. Picture a simple scene. A Zen master sits quietly before a plain, unadorned cup of tea. A notification buzzes on a phone nearby, but the master does not glance up. They simply pause. They place their hands gently on the warm cup, feeling its solidity, the steam rising in the still air. They notice the scent of the tea, the slight vibration of the table, the quiet rhythm of their own breathing. The digital distraction is acknowledged but not absorbed. It passes like a cloud, while the master remains rooted in the warmth of the cup. The sound of the tea leaves settling, the quiet presence of the room. This is the art of the mindful pause, not avoiding the screen, but stepping out of its pull, returning to the felt reality of this very moment, right here.
Right now.
So, take a moment now. Not tomorrow. Not after you finish this thought. Right now, as you listen. Before you reach for your phone again, or before you react to a post, pause. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice the air moving in and out of your body. What did you notice during your last mindful pause? Did you feel the coolness of the air? Hear the distant sound of a bird? Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest? What did your senses catch, just for a breath before the comparison began again? It might be something small, a texture, a sound, a shift in your posture. This noticing, this simple awareness is your practice. It is the gentle return to the only place where life truly happens, the present moment. Your worth is not found in the comparison, but in the quiet recognition of your own presence, right here, right now. The mindful pause is not an escape. It is a deepening of your connection to life as it unfolds, without the filter of others' curated moments. It is the simple, profound act of choosing to be fully here, with all its ordinary, unremarkable, and deeply beautiful reality. Living without comparison means embracing life as it is. Consider the quiet moment when your thumb stops scrolling. The phone screen fades to black, not with frustration, but with a soft release. In that space, you notice the weight of your hand resting on the table, the gentle hum of the refrigerator, the sound of leaves moving outside your window. This is not an escape from the digital world. It is the return to the only world that truly matters, the one you inhabit right now. Comparison. That insistent whisper telling you your life is lacking, is not a truth. It is a habit, a mental pattern worn smooth by repetition. It asks you to measure your ordinary moments against curated highlights, to see your own unfolding story as a draft compared to someone else's finished novel. But your life is not a draft. It is a masterpiece, unique and whole, written in the very moments you are living. The masterpiece is not found in the comparison, but in the act of living it fully and without judgment. Think of a single leaf falling from a tree. It does not pause to wonder how its descent compares to the leaf beside it. It simply falls, tracing its own path with quiet grace. It is not striving to be a different leaf, nor is it judging its fall as too slow or too fast. It is simply present, moving through its own nature. This is the wisdom of the leaf. It does not look at the leaf above it, or the one below. It is wholly engaged in its own falling. Your life is like that leaf. It is not meant to be compared. It is meant to be lived, felt, and experienced in its own unique rhythm. When you break the habit of comparison, You step out of the endless, exhausting race of measurement and step into the quiet certainty of your own being. You realize the peace you seek is not found in the other person's life, but in the peace of your own breath, your own heartbeat, the simple fact of your presence right here, right now. So take this moment. Notice the sensations without labeling them good or bad. Feel the air on your skin. Hear the sounds without adding commentary. See the light in the room without thinking it should be brighter or softer. This is not about forcing yourself to be happy. It is about recognizing that you are already whole, exactly as you are, in this ordinary moment. The question is not how your life compares to others, but how deeply you can be present within your own life. What would your day look like if comparison vanished? Imagine the space it would create. Imagine the quiet joy of opening your eyes without first checking what others are doing. Imagine the ease of sharing your thoughts without measuring them against someone else's words. Imagine the freedom of creating, speaking, and living from a place of your own authentic truth, not from the shadow of comparison. This is not a distant ideal. It is the natural state of being when you choose presence over judgment. This freedom is not a destination. It is the very ground beneath your feet, the space you have always been standing in, obscured only by the noise of comparison. When you live without comparison, your true expression flows naturally, unburdened by the need to be like others or better than others. You simply are. You simply create. You simply share. This is the quiet strength that leads to authentic self-expression, the natural unfolding that requires no validation from outside. It begins with one simple choice: to return, again and again, to the sound of your breath, the touch of the earth, the living reality of this moment. Let the comparison fall away like the leaf. Your life, in all its imperfect, beautiful nowness, is already the masterpiece. In the quiet space between breaths, beneath the constant hum of digital noise, we find a deeper truth. We carry within us the seed of authenticity, waiting to bloom without needing permission. Seeking approval is comparison's shadow. It whispers that we are not enough as we are, that we must reshape ourselves to fit others' expectations. It pulls us away from the simple, profound reality of our own presence. True authenticity means showing up as you are, not who you think you should be to earn a like, a nod, or a smile. It is the quiet courage to stand in your own skin, exactly as you are, right now. This is not about being perfect, but about being real. It is the gentle release of the heavy cloak we sometimes wear, woven from the threads of others' opinions. Think of a simple tea ceremony, practiced with deep attention. The practitioner does not think about how the gesture might be judged by others. They do not adjust their movements to impress or to hide their natural rhythm. They pour the water, handle the bowl, and sip the tea with full presence, embodying the moment without a single thought of external judgment. Their authenticity is not a performance for an audience. It is the natural expression of their focused awareness. The tea is served as it is, the bowl held as it is, the moment lived as it is. This is the heart of Zen practice, showing up completely, without the need to alter oneself for anyone else. The beauty is in the unvarnished offering, not in the crafted image. So, take this moment to gently turn your attention inward. What part of yourself do you hide to gain approval? Is it a quiet thought you suppress? A genuine feeling you mask as something more polished? Is it a creative spark you dim because it doesn't fit the trend? Or perhaps it is the simple, unvarnished expression of your own joy or sorrow, which you hold back for fear of being misunderstood. This reflection is not about judgment, but about quiet recognition. Notice the subtle ways you bend, the slight adjustments you make in conversations, the stories you tell to be seen as acceptable. Feel the weight of that hidden part, the quiet ache of not being fully known. Then, with gentle compassion, ask yourself, what would it feel like to let that part breathe freely? What would it be like to simply be, without the effort of becoming someone else for the sake of being liked? This journey inward, this quiet unmasking, is where true freedom begins. It is not about rejecting others, but about releasing the need to be approved by them. It is understanding that your worth is not a currency traded in likes or words, but a deep, inherent quality of being present. The approval we seek is fleeting, like a ripple on water, while the peace of being authentic is the stillness beneath the surface. When we stop chasing external validation, we discover the rich landscape of our own true nature, already whole and complete. We see that our unique expression, our quiet strength, our gentle presence, these are not things to be earned, but things to be simply offered. This courage grows when we share from the heart. In the constant hum of digital feeds, we often measure our worth against polished images and perfected moments. We scroll, compare, and feel the quiet ache of not quite measuring up. But what if the deepest peace comes not from seeking approval, but from simply being here as you are, without the need to edit your presence? True authenticity is the quiet courage to show your real moments, the unpolished ones, the ones that might feel a little messy or uncertain. It is the choice to share a moment of gentle laughter with your child, a quiet morning cup of tea, or even a stumble on a walk, without the pressure to make it perfect for the world. This is not about being careless, it is about being real. Consider the story of a monk in a quiet mountain temple. One morning, as he carried his bowl of rice, it slipped from his hands and shattered on the stone path. Instead of rushing to clean it up with worry, he simply looked at the broken pieces, smiled, and said softly, "This is how the bowl was meant to be." The other monks, who had been watching, laughed with him. There was no shame, no need to pretend the moment was perfect. In that unguarded instant, a shared humanity was revealed. The monk's willingness to show the broken bowl, without apology or performance, created a space where others felt safe to be unguarded too. His authenticity invited the entire community to breathe more easily, to let go of the need to always appear whole. He did not seek approval, he simply was. And in that being, he connected, your unfiltered sharing, your willingness to show the real, not the curated, does the same. It does not demand praise, it simply exists. When you share a moment that feels true, even if it lacks the perfect lighting or the perfectly composed caption, you signal to others that it is safe to be real too. You invite them to step out of the performance and into the shared ground of being human. This is the quiet revolution of authenticity. It dissolves the invisible walls we build around ourselves for the sake of being liked. And in doing so, it creates a space where genuine connection can grow. It is not about having the most followers, it is about having the courage to be seen, exactly as you are in the ordinary beauty of the present. So take a gentle pause. Reflect quietly. What would you share without editing if you felt completely safe, completely free from judgment? Not the highlight reel, but the real, the slightly imperfect, the moment that held your true feeling. Perhaps it is the quiet frustration of a difficult conversation, the simple joy of a walk in the rain, or the unguarded moment you felt deeply loved. Imagine sharing that without the filter of seeking approval. Feel the lightness that comes with that possibility. This reflection is not about judgment. It is about remembering your inherent worth, already whole, already worthy, just as you are in this very moment. When we choose to share from this place of deep authenticity, not to gain anything but simply because it is true, something shifts. Our digital presence ceases to be a stage for performance and becomes a space of genuine connection. Sharing from the heart transforms your digital presence. Notice how the phone's glow fades into the quiet of your room, leaving only the soft hum of the world outside. In this space, away from the endless scroll, ask yourself a simple question before you post, before you share. Does this share my truth or my fear of judgment? The scroll stays silent, offering no judgment, only the gentle invitation to look within. We share to connect, yet often we share to be seen as someone else, someone polished, someone who fits the picture. But your truth isn't polished. It's real, like the steam rising from a simple cup of tea, imperfect and warm. When you share from that place, your unedited moment, your quiet doubt, your genuine joy, the connection that forms isn't about the number of likes. It's about the recognition that says, I see you, just as you are. This is the heart-centered sharing that dissolves the need for approval, for it finds its meaning in the act of sharing itself, not in the response. Remember a time when you shared something vulnerable? Not for praise, but because it was true, perhaps a moment of uncertainty, a small win, a quiet observation about the rain. Did you feel a shift? A sense of being truly seen, not for what you did, but for who you were in that moment. That feeling wasn't born from the comments, but from the courage to be real. It was the quiet hum of connection, the unspoken understanding that we are all just trying to be here, as we are. This is the power of sharing from the heart. It creates a space where others feel safe to do the same, because they see it's possible to be imperfect and still worthy of connection. It's not about being perfect for the world. It's about being perfectly real with the world. The fear of judgment often whispers that you must hide your cracks to be loved, but the heart knows better. Your cracks are where the light gets in, and when you share them, you invite others to do the same. You don't need the world to approve of your tea bowl when it's slightly chipped. You simply share the warmth it holds. This is how authenticity becomes a quiet revolution, a refusal to shrink, to hide, to perform. It's not about seeking validation, it's about releasing the need for it. When you stop measuring your worth against the likes, the shares, the curated lives you see, you begin to live in the spaciousness of your own truth. You realize the connection you seek isn't found in the comments, but in the simple act of showing up exactly as you are. The moment you stop asking, "Will they like this?" and start asking, "Is this true for me?" the weight of comparison begins to lift. You no longer compare your journey to others' highlight reels because you are no longer trying to be someone else. You are simply walking your path, sharing your truth, one unfiltered moment at a time. This is the freedom that comes from releasing the need for external approval. It frees us from the endless comparison that traps us in the digital world, allowing us to see ourselves and others with clear, compassionate eyes. Releasing validation needs frees us from comparison. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the quiet space between your thoughts, the stillness beneath the surface of your mind. In this moment, you are already whole, complete, not needing anything from the outside to be so. This is the deep truth we return to again and again. Validation, that fleeting rush of likes or comments, is like catching smoke. It feels bright for a moment, then vanishes, leaving only the emptiness of craving. It's a temporary high built on shifting sand. Your true worth, however, is the solid ground beneath your feet, the quiet certainty that has always been there, unshaken by the noise of the world. It doesn't need proof from others, it simply is. Think of a still pond after rain. Clouds drift across the sky, casting shadows on the water, but the pond itself remains calm and undisturbed. The clouds, the likes, the comments, the comparisons pass through, but they don't change the pond's essential nature. When you scroll through feeds, when you feel that familiar tug to check if someone liked your post, notice it. Not with judgment, but with gentle awareness. Feel the subtle tension, the little voice whispering, "Was it good enough?" Then, without fighting it, simply return to your breath. Breathe in, feeling the air fill your lungs. Breathe out, releasing the tightness. This simple act of returning to your center is your anchor. It reminds you that you are not defined by the external feedback you seek. Now, reflect gently on a time you shared something true, something unpolished, without a single thought of checking for likes. How did it feel? Perhaps it was lighter, freer. Maybe you felt a quiet joy in simply expressing what was real without the weight of seeking approval. That feeling, authentic, unburdened, is the taste of living from your core. It's not about the absence of connection, but about a different kind of connection. One rooted in truth, not in the need to be seen a certain way. When you share from that place, the connection becomes real, because it's real. You don't need to perform for the world, you simply are. This is the quiet shift. Releasing the need for validation isn't about becoming invisible. It's about stepping fully into your own light, knowing it shines because it is yours, not because it's reflected back. The craving for likes fades not with force, but with the steady, unwavering recognition of your own inherent worth. You've carried this weight long enough. Now, as you move through your day, let inner peace guide you, not the flickering glow of a notification. Let the stillness within be your compass, leading you toward what truly matters. Moment by moment, consider the quiet space between heartbeats. Now imagine scrolling through feeds filled with curated moments, each post a tiny mirror reflecting someone else's life. You might find yourself comparing your ordinary morning to their perfect sunrise, your quiet moment to their vibrant adventure. This subtle comparison, this constant measuring against others, is the very thing that steals your peace. It is the opposite of what you seek. True peace is not found in the endless scroll, not in the tally of likes, not in the echo of external approval. It is found within, always has been, always will be. Likes are external markers, fleeting and borrowed. Inner peace is your birthright, a deep wellspring within you, untouched by any digital interaction. It is not earned through engagement. It is simply there, waiting for you to turn your attention inward. Think of a still pond on a calm morning. Its surface reflects the sky, the clouds, the trees, perfectly clear. Now imagine a stone thrown into that water. The surface ripples, distorts the reflection, creates temporary chaos. The stone's impact is external, temporary, and the pond itself remains fundamentally undisturbed. The ripples are the social media feeds, the comparisons, the need for validation. They disturb the surface, but the deep, clear water of your own peace remains untouched beneath the surface. The pond does not chase the ripples, it simply is. Your inner peace is like that pond. It is not created by the ripples of others' lives or the number of likes you receive. It is the natural state of your being, always present, always available, even when the surface seems disturbed by the noise of the world. So today, pause. Not to check your phone, not to see what others are doing, but to simply be. What brought you peace today without any digital interaction? Was it the warmth of sunlight on your skin as you walked? The quiet focus of brewing tea? The sound of birds outside your window? The simple, unremarkable moment of breathing deeply while waiting for a bus? These are not small things. These are the moments where your birthright of peace was already present, already active, simply because you were not chasing an external reflection. You were present within yourself. This is the quiet revolution. It is not about rejecting the world, but about recognizing where your true anchor lies. It is about understanding that your worth, your peace, your very being is not dependent on the external validation that social media offers. It is inherent, complete, and already whole. Reflect now. Close your eyes if you can. Let the gentle rhythm of your breath guide you inward. What small, simple moment of peace did you experience today without a screen, without a thought of comparison? Hold that feeling. Feel its quiet strength. This is not a fleeting sensation. It is the recognition of your unshakable inner peace. It is the space where you are simply yourself, fully and completely. This is the peace that cannot be taken away, that requires no engagement, no external proof. It is the peace you were born with. Let this understanding sink in. Let it be your compass. As you move forward, remember this truth deep within you. Detachment isn't rejection. It's the conscious choice to return to this stillness, to the peace that is always yours, right here, right now. As the stillness from yesterday's practice settles within you, notice how the quiet hum of your true nature remains unchanged, even as the digital world pulses around you. This chapter invites you to meet social media not with resistance, but with mindful presence. Detachment is not stepping away from the world, but stepping into your life with clarity. It means opening your eyes to the screen without letting the scroll dictate your worth, to engage with others without measuring your value against their highlight reels. You're not turning your phone off. You're turning your attention back to the life unfolding right here, right now. The moment you notice yourself comparing, pause. Feel the ground beneath your feet, the rhythm of your breath, the simple reality of this breath, this moment, this very life. This is your inherent peace, untouched by the fleeting likes or comments that flicker on a screen. Consider the old tea master in Kyoto. He prepared tea for visitors every morning, his hands moving with quiet precision. A guest once asked, "Why do you serve tea so calmly?" Knowing some visitors will praise you while others will say nothing. The master smiled. "I serve tea for the tea, not for the praise or the silence. The act itself is the purpose." His engagement was whole, yet his heart remained free. He did not cling to the guest's reaction, nor did he withdraw. He simply was present, serving with care, and the tea was perfect. This is the essence of detachment. You can scroll through your feed, share your thoughts, connect with others, yet your peace is not dependent on the response, the number of likes, or the comparison to another's curated life. Your worth is not a metric to be measured against a screen. Reflect now on your own relationship with your phone. When you open it today, what do you notice? Do you reach for it as a reflex, seeking validation or distraction? Or do you pause, aware of your intention? How has letting go of the need to measure yourself against others changed the way you hold your device? Has the screen become a window to the world rather than a mirror reflecting your insecurities? Has the space between your thumb and the screen grown quieter, more spacious? This is not about deleting apps or abandoning connection. It is about reclaiming the space within yourself, that social media once filled with noise. It is about realizing that your peace was never borrowed from the digital world. It was always here, waiting to be noticed. As you close this reflection, feel the gentle shift. The constant pull to check, to compare, to see what others are doing. This is the cycle. When you step out of that cycle, you step into your own life. You see the sky without filtering it through a screen. You hear your child's laughter without wondering if it's as perfect as a video online. You feel the warmth of your morning tea, unmediated by the need for an audience. This is the quiet revolution of detachment, not disengagement, but deeper engagement with the reality of your own life. This detox creates space for deeper stillness. Imagine the constant hum of your phone screen, the endless scroll of curated lives, the subtle pressure to measure your worth against the highlight reels of others. This is not just distraction, it is digital noise. It is the static that drowns out your inner voice, the quiet whisper of your own knowing. You feel pulled, stretched thin, trying to hear yourself over the roar of the feed. This noise is not merely external, it becomes internal, shaping your sense of self through comparison, making peace feel distant and elusive. True inner peace cannot be found in the frantic rhythm of the online world. It requires a different kind of attention, a deliberate turning inward. Detox is not simply about deleting an app or turning off notifications for a few hours. It is a deeper practice, a conscious creation of space. It means stepping back from the constant input, the demand for connection, to allow silence to arise. This silence is not empty, it is full of potential. It is the space where you can finally hear the subtle sounds you've been missing, the rhythm of your own breath, the gentle hum of the present moment, the quiet wisdom that has always been within you, obscured only by the noise. Detox is the act of clearing the clutter from your inner landscape so you can see clearly again. Consider the tea master preparing a bowl of matcha. In the quiet room, the only sound is the soft hiss of water in the kettle, the rhythmic whisking of the tea. The master is utterly present, not distracted by thoughts of the next bowl, the next guest, or the outside world. Their focus is on the water's sound, the texture of the matcha, the warmth of the bowl in their hands. They are not seeking validation from the tea, they are simply being with it, fully. This is the essence of the detox. It is not about escaping the world, but about being fully present within it, without the interference of the digital static. The master's stillness is not isolation. It is deep connection to the simple, immediate reality of the moment. So, take a moment now. Reflect on the last time you truly turned off your phone. Let the screen go dark and sat in stillness. What did you notice? Was it the sound of wind in the trees? The feeling of your feet on the floor? A thought that arose without judgment? Or perhaps simply the profound quiet that settled within you? That quiet is not absence, it is presence. It is the sound of your own life, uninterrupted, speaking clearly. This is the space we cultivate through detox, a space where your inherent peace, your unshakable birthright, is no longer drowned out. This practice of creating silence is not a retreat from the world, but a return to it with clear eyes and a calm heart. Finding stillness in a connected world is possible, not by disconnecting completely, but by learning to be present within the connection, free from the noise that steals our peace. It begins with one small step, one moment of turning inward, one breath in the quiet space we create. Consider the gentle rhythm of your breath as you read these words. Many believe peace requires stepping away from the digital world, as if stillness could only bloom in silence. Yet true stillness does not demand disconnection. It asks for a different kind of presence. You can hold your phone, scroll through feeds, and yet remain rooted within yourself. This is the essence of finding stillness in a connected world. It is not about deleting apps or turning off notifications. It is about choosing where your attention goes moment by moment. Your breath is always here. The weight of the cup in your hands is always here. The quiet hum of the room is always here. These anchors exist even amidst the digital noise. They are not separate from your connection. They are the very ground of your connection. Letting go of comparison begins not with escaping the screen, but with noticing what happens when you choose to rest your attention on the simple reality of this moment, right here. You can be deeply engaged with the world, with others, with the flow of life online, and yet carry an inner calm that is unshaken by the comparisons flashing by. Imagine the tea master preparing a simple cup. Their hands move with quiet certainty. They do not watch the clock, nor compare their bowl to another's. They are fully present with the steam rising, the water heating, the delicate balance of the leaves in the pot. Their focus is not on the absence of distraction, but on the quality of their attention within the activity itself. This is not escape. It is deep engagement. It is the calm that comes from knowing your worth is not measured by the number of likes, the speed of a reply, or the perceived perfection of someone else's life. The master is connected to the ritual, to the water, to the guest, and to their own centered calm all at once. This is the possibility open to you right now. You are not required to step away to find peace. You are invited to step into presence within the very space where you already are. So take a slow breath now. Feel the chair beneath you. Notice the light on the screen or the room around you. Where did you find stillness today, even for 30 seconds? Perhaps it was in the warmth of your coffee, the sound of birds outside, the feeling of your feet on the floor as you paused before opening another app. Maybe it was simply the pause between thoughts, the moment your eyes lifted from the phone to notice the sky. That small space, that 30 seconds of quiet awareness, is the beginning of your return. It is the seed of a different way of being. It is the quiet recognition that you are whole, exactly as you are, right here, right now, without needing the world to reflect back a version of yourself. This stillness you discover is not fleeting. It is a practice. It is the gentle act of returning to your center again and again, not as a retreat from the world, but as a deeper way of engaging with it. It is the quiet strength that allows you to see the digital world clearly, without being pulled into its currents of comparison. It is the calm that lets you choose how to be present, both online and off. This moment of stillness, this small anchor in the stream of connection, is the foundation. It is the quiet space where you release the need to measure yourself against the endless scroll. It is the very ground from which you will build your daily ritual of release. Each time you notice the breath, the cup, the quiet hum, you are not escaping. You are arriving. You are choosing presence. And that is the truest connection of all. As the last light of day softens the edges of the room, notice how the digital glow on your screen begins to fade. This is the moment to gently close the doors of your devices, not with a sigh of relief or a sense of loss, but with a quiet intention. Place your phone face down on the table, close the laptop lid with a soft click, and let the screen go dark. Feel the subtle shift in your awareness as the constant stream of notifications, the subtle pull of comparison, and the endless scroll dissolve into stillness. This simple act is more than turning off a device. It is a conscious signal to your mind. I am no longer on the comparison path. My worth is not measured by likes or curated moments. The digital world, with its endless comparisons, is now a distant echo, not the current landscape of your inner world. Consider the ancient practice of the tea ceremony, where every movement is deliberate and mindful. Just as a monk closes the teapot lid with full attention, acknowledging the completion of the ritual, so too do we close our digital doors with the same presence. The closing of the lid is not an ending, but a gentle transition, a moment of respect for the process just completed. It is a silent affirmation that the work of the day, with its connections and distractions, is now complete. This ritual, performed consistently at the same time each evening, becomes a sacred anchor. It is not about escaping the digital world, but about consciously choosing to step out of its comparative energy and return to the grounded reality of your own presence. After you close the screen, take a slow breath. Feel the weight of your body in the chair or on the floor. Notice the quiet hum of the evening, the sound of your own breath, the simple feeling of being here, now. Reflect inwardly. How did your evening feel after this ritual? Did the tightness in your shoulders ease? Did the constant background noise of what others are doing finally fade? Did you feel a subtle lightness, a sense of returning to yourself rather than to the mirror of others? This reflection is not about judging your evening, but about noticing the quiet shift within you. Did the space feel softer? Did your mind feel less cluttered? Did you feel a deeper connection to the simple act of being present in the quiet room, with the soft light of a lamp or the glow of a candle, not the harsh light of a screen? This evening ritual is not about deprivation. It is about profound renewal. It is the gentle closing of one chapter of your day, allowing the next to begin with clarity. The simple act of closing your digital doors becomes the first step in reclaiming your inner peace, not as an escape, but as a conscious return to your own well-being. The space you create by closing the digital doors is the very space where true presence and quiet confidence can grow. Evening unplugging becomes a renewal practice. As the last glow of the screen fades, you gently set your device aside, not with resistance, but with a quiet acknowledgement of the day's digital journey. 30 minutes before sleep, this simple act becomes a sacred pause, a deliberate closing of the outer world to welcome the inner stillness. You feel the subtle shift, the gentle release of the constant pull of endless feeds and comparisons that had quietly tightened your shoulders. This is not about denying technology, but about honoring your inherent need for rest. A reset for your nervous system that only comes when you step away from the digital hum. The space left behind is not empty, but filled with the quiet potential of presence. Consider the ritual of pouring a cup of tea. As you watch the leaves unfurl in hot water, the steam rising in soft spirals, you notice how the mind, once caught in the current of someone else's curated life, begins to settle. The scent of the leaves, the warmth of the cup in your hands, the sound of water settling. All these sensations anchor you here, now. You are no longer measuring your life against a screen, but simply being with the warmth, the taste, the quiet rhythm of your breath. This moment of mindful preparation is your anchor, a gentle replacement for the habit of scrolling. It invites you to notice the space where thoughts once raced, perhaps noticing how the comparison stories faded as you focused on the steam, the cup, the simple act of being. Now, as you sit with this calm, reflect gently on what you noticed during this unplugging. Did the mind try to return to the digital echoes, the unfinished messages, or the fleeting moments of envy? Or did you simply feel the weight of the day lift, replaced by a quiet awareness of your own breath? There is no need to judge these thoughts. They are simply passing clouds. The practice is not to stop thinking, but to see clearly when the mind drifts back to the comparison, and to gently return to the warmth of the cup, the sound of the wind, or the soft rhythm of your own breathing. This reflection is not about solving anything, but about recognizing your own capacity to be present right here, without needing the screen to confirm your worth. In this quiet space, you realize that the digital sunset ritual is not about losing connection, but about deepening your connection to yourself, to the present moment, to the simple truth of your own being. It is a daily return to your inherent wholeness, a reminder that your worth is not found in likes or views, but in the quiet strength of your own presence. The act of unplugging becomes an act of self-honor, a gentle yet firm statement that you are enough, exactly as you are in this moment of stillness. Letting go of the day's digital echoes is essential. As the last light of day softens the edges of your screen, let this moment hold the quiet power of release. The gentle click of your device closing, the soft sigh as you set it aside, becomes more than just an action. It is a sacred invitation to step away from the constant hum of comparison. In this space between the digital world and the stillness within, we practice the simple, profound act of letting go. You may find yourself holding on to the image of another's journey, the highlight reel of their life, the subtle ache of feeling less than. Today, as you close this chapter, let the words settle softly in your heart. I release what I compared to. Not with force, not with judgment, but with the gentle ease of a leaf drifting from a branch into the flowing stream below. You release the comparison because it was never yours to carry. And you release it because you remember your own inherent worth is not measured against anyone else's path. This ritual is not about erasing the day, but about making space. It is the quiet clearing of a forest floor after a gentle rain, where the earth breathes deeply, ready for new growth. By releasing the comparisons that cluttered your mind, you create room for the fresh start that tomorrow holds. The weight of more or less dissolves, leaving only the clarity of this present moment. You are not less than anyone else, nor are you more. You are simply here, whole and complete, exactly as you are. This is the space where peace begins to settle, like dust settling after a quiet evening breeze. It is the space where the steam rising from your cup, the rhythm of your breath, the soft hum of the night outside your window all become your compass, guiding you back to your own center. Take a slow, deep breath now. Feel the air fill your lungs, then release it slowly. In this quiet space, gently reflect. What comparison did you let go of today? Was it the photo of a friend's travels that made you feel stuck? Was it the headline of someone's success that made you doubt your own? Was it the fleeting thought that you should be further along? Simply notice it, acknowledge it without judgment, and then let it flow away with your breath. You do not need to hold on to it. You are not responsible for the comparisons you saw or felt. You are only responsible for the gentle release in this moment. This reflection is not about analysis. It is about recognition. It is about knowing that you chose to step away from the comparison, choosing your peace instead. This practice, this daily ritual of letting go, is not a single act. It is the quiet, consistent turning of the wheel of your attention away from the outside noise and back towards the inner stillness. It is the choice to honor your own journey, one breath, one release, one moment at a time. Each time you close your device with intention, each time you consciously release the day's comparisons, you are weaving a new thread into the fabric of your life. You are creating a rhythm where peace becomes the natural state, not the exception. You are training your heart to recognize that true abundance is found not in comparison, but in the quiet, deep well of your own being. As you settle into the softness of this evening, remember this: creating a peaceful transition becomes your new norm. It is not about perfection, but about the gentle, persistent return to this moment, this breath, this release. The digital sunset is not an end, but a gentle invitation to meet yourself fully and freely in the unfolding quiet of the night. Let the release be your evening prayer, and the peace be your companion as you rest. As the screen dims and the glow of your device fades, a quiet invitation settles around you. This moment, this space between the digital world and your inner stillness, is not empty. It is the fertile ground where true presence begins. Let us create a gentle ritual to honor this transition. A 5-minute sanctuary to step away from the endless scroll and return to yourself. There is no need for grand gestures, only the simple, sacred act of turning inward. Light a single candle. Watch the flame catch and steady a small sun in your hands. Feel the cool air brush your skin as you open a window, letting in the natural rhythm of the evening. Breathe in slowly through your nose, drawing in the quiet air, and breathe out fully through your mouth, releasing any lingering tension. Let the flame's soft light guide your gaze inward, not outward. Notice the space between thoughts, the space where comparison once held sway. You are not measuring yourself against the curated lives on the screen. You are simply here, feeling the air, hearing your breath, seeing the light. This is not a task to complete, but a space to inhabit. The candle flickers, a reminder that peace is not something you chase, but something you already hold within. Reflect now, softly. How did your transition feel different today? Was the air cooler, carrying a hint of evening earth? Did the candlelight seem to soften the edges of your thoughts? Did the simple act of breathing deeply feel like a homecoming? A quiet sigh after a long day of striving? Perhaps today, the urge to compare slipped away more easily, leaving only the clear, cool water of your own presence. This is not about perfection, but about noticing the subtle shift within you. The ritual isn't about adding another item to your to-do list. It is about releasing the weight of the list itself. It is the gentle release of the question, am I enough? When you simply feel the air on your skin and hear your own steady breath. The quiet calm settling within you now is not borrowed from the screen. It is your own inherent stillness, returning. This peace is not separate from your life. It is the very fabric of your daily practice. It is the calm that settles after the storm of the digital world has passed, the deep, quiet hum beneath the surface of your being. As you sit with the candlelight, know this, the peace you cultivate in these 5 minutes is not temporary. It is the foundation. It is the quiet anchor that will carry you through the next day, through the next moment when the pull of comparison arises. You are not losing yourself in the digital world. You are reclaiming yourself. One breath, one candlelit moment at a time. This is your practice. It is simple, it is profound, and it is already yours. This peace integrates into your daily Zen practice. As the quiet settles after your nightly ritual of release, notice how the space you've created within feels different. It's not the absence of thought, but a gentle spaciousness where the need to compare begins to soften. This is the fertile ground for true non-attachment to online personas. We often carry an invisible script, a sense of who we must be to fit the digital stage, curated, polished, constantly performing for an unseen audience. Yet your worth, your core essence, exists far beyond that performance. It is not measured in likes, comments, or the carefully chosen words of a caption. Your identity is not defined by the digital interactions that flicker across your screen. nor by the reactions they provoke. Consider the river flowing through a still valley. It reflects the clouds above, the trees lining its banks, the sky's changing moods. It mirrors the world around it, yet the river itself remains unchanged, flowing with its own inherent nature. It does not become the cloud, nor does it hold on to the reflection. It simply is. This is the wisdom of non-attachment. When you scroll through feeds, when you craft a post, when you feel the pull to shape yourself into something you think others want, remember the river. You are not the reflection of others' expectations. You are the flowing water, present and whole in your own right, regardless of what the surface shows. The persona you wear online, whether confident, funny, wise, or serene, is a temporary reflection, not your true self. Pause now. What persona did you wear today? Did you craft a version of yourself to be admired, to fit in, to stand out? Did you lean into the role of the helpful friend, the adventurous traveler, the effortlessly successful professional? Notice the subtle effort it takes to hold that shape. Feel the slight tension in your shoulders as you maintain the image. Now, gently set that down. Who are you without it? Not the persona, not the curated moments, but the quiet presence beneath it all. The one who simply observes, breathes, and exists. This is not about becoming someone else. It is about remembering who you already are, free from the performance. It is the simple, profound act of recognizing your inherent worth is not earned through digital validation, but is already complete, just as you are. This quiet recognition is the key. It dissolves the illusion that we must constantly prove ourselves, that our value hinges on external approval. It allows the true self to surface, unburdened by the need to be seen in a certain way. You begin to see the digital world not as a mirror demanding reflection, but as a passing scene, like clouds drifting across the river. The river remains, you remain. The persona is released, not as something bad, but as something unnecessary for your deepest peace. This non-attachment reveals the illusion of perfection. We move now beyond the digital noise to the quiet truth of our lived experience. Social media streams a curated highlight reel of flawless moments, a world where every meal is perfectly plated, every journey is effortless, every smile is untroubled. This constant display of supposed perfection creates a silent, heavy pressure, a whisper that we must measure up, that our ordinary, messy reality is somehow lacking. Yet true wisdom reveals this as a profound illusion. Perfection is not a destination we reach, it is a myth we chase, a mirage that vanishes the moment we try to grasp it. The very idea of a perfect, unblemished life is a fiction that ignores the natural, beautiful flow of being human. Consider the potter shaping clay. The most cherished cups often bear the subtle, organic marks of the maker's hand, the slight unevenness where the clay thickened, the tiny flaw that makes it uniquely alive. The potter does not seek a flawless, machine-made vessel. They seek a cup that holds tea well, that feels true in the hand, that carries the quiet story of its making. Its imperfection is not a failure, but its essential character. It's proof of being made by human hands, not a factory. This is the Zen insight. The cracks and the curves are where the light gets in, where the beauty of the real, the imperfect, truly shines. Social media hides the potter's messy studio, the dropped pieces, the moments of frustration before the cup takes shape. It shows only the final, polished object, inviting us to compare our entire, complex, evolving journey to a single, frozen moment of someone else's curated perfection. So pause now with gentle curiosity. Look inward to the ordinary moments of your own day. Not the photos you might share, but the unfiltered reality. What imperfect moment made you feel most alive today? Perhaps it was the stumble while walking, the laugh that came when you spilled your coffee, the honest, awkward conversation where you admitted you didn't know, the quiet moment of simply being present with a loved one without needing to perform. These are the moments that hold the genuine warmth of being human, not the polished image we project. They are the truest expressions of our journey, the very ground where growth takes root. The messiness, the uncertainty, the small failures, they are not signs of inadequacy, they are the natural texture of life unfolding. Let this reflection settle softly within you. Notice how the simple act of recognizing these imperfect moments, these small, real experiences, dissolves the old pressure to be something you are not. It replaces comparison with a quiet understanding. Your journey, with all its unique imperfections, is already complete and deeply valuable just as it is. When we stop chasing the impossible ideal of perfection, the very imperfections that once felt like failures become the soil where acceptance takes root, deepening our understanding of the ever-changing, beautiful flow of existence. This is the quiet strength that emerges when we release the need to compare, allowing the true, imperfect, and perfectly human moment to be exactly as it is. Look around you now. Feel the quiet space between the constant buzz of notifications and the scroll of endless feeds. Notice how the images we chase, the comparisons we hold, the fleeting feelings of envy or pride, they all rise and fall like waves on a shore. This is the essence of impermanence, the fundamental truth that underlies every moment of our digital lives. All digital content, all feelings, all comparisons are temporary. They are like ripples on a pond, appearing, shifting, and dissolving without a trace. This simple truth, when truly understood, is not a source of sadness, but a deep liberation. It frees us from the exhausting effort of clinging, from the hidden belief that we must hold on to this feeling, that one feed must be better than another, that our worth depends on the fleeting glow of a like. When we see the temporary nature of it all, the need to grasp or resist fades. The tension in the shoulders eases. The mind settles into a quiet spaciousness. We realize we were never truly lost in the comparison. We were simply mistaking a passing shadow for a solid wall. Consider the mountain stream we often observe in Zen practice. It flows over smooth stones, carrying leaves and petals. The leaves float gently, caught in the current for a moment, then swept onward, joining the river's journey. They are beautiful in their passage, but they never stay. They do not cling to the stone, nor do they fight the flow. They simply are as they are, for the time they are here. This is the natural state of all things, the perfect photo we admire on screen, the heartfelt post that moved us, the feeling of being left behind. Each is a leaf on the stream. It is not that they are unimportant, it is that they are not permanent. They are part of the river's flow, not the river itself. The stream does not stop because a leaf drifts by. It simply continues, holding all without attachment. Our minds, when we remember this, can be like that stream. We can hold the experience of a comparison without letting it define us or shape our entire landscape. We can see the digital reflection, understand its temporary nature, and return to the solid ground of our own present moment. So take a slow breath now. Bring your awareness gently to this very moment, not to the past feed, not to the future post, but to the feeling of your breath, the sensation of your body here, now. What comparison is passing through you right now? Perhaps it is the image of someone else's life, a feeling of not measuring up, or the quiet ache of a moment that has already shifted. Notice it without judgment. See it as a leaf on the stream, beautiful for its brief appearance, but not to be held onto. Feel the space around it, the quiet stillness that remains when you release the grip. This is the practice, not to deny the feeling, but to see it clearly as impermanent, and to rest in the awareness that is beyond it. This quiet release, this gentle seeing, is the very ground of our freedom. Living in complete acceptance is the ultimate freedom. It is not passive resignation, but the vibrant, active embrace of life as it truly is, in every fleeting, beautiful moment. It is the deep peace that comes from knowing we are already whole, always, regardless of the digital tide. This is the freedom we find when we step out of the comparison and into the river of now. Imagine the quiet rhythm of your breath as you settle into this moment, leaving behind the restless scroll of curated lives that fill your screen. You've already glimpsed the impermanence of those digital comparisons, how they flicker and fade like morning mist. Now, let us gently step into the deeper waters of acceptance, not as a quieting of the mind, but as a vibrant, clear-sighted seeing of life exactly as it unfolds before you. Acceptance. This profound Zen teaching is often misunderstood as passive surrender, a closing of the eyes to reality. It is not. It is the opposite, a courageous, open-eyed gaze that meets the present moment with unwavering clarity. It means seeing your path, your unique journey with its twists, turns, and moments of both joy and difficulty, not as something to be fixed or compared to another's well-worn map. Your map is yours alone, drawn by your own steps, your own encounters, your own unfolding story. Comparing it to someone else's path is like trying to read a different country's topography with your own compass. It creates confusion, frustration, and a deep sense of lacking, when the only compass you truly need is the one pointing to your own authentic steps. Consider the old gardener tending his small plot. He sees the vibrant blooms in his neighbor's garden, the perfect symmetry of their rose bushes. He feels no pang of envy, no urge to tear up his own soil and replant. He simply sees his own garden, the wildflowers pushing through the cracks, the sturdy sunflowers leaning gently towards the sun, the soil rich with the earthy scent of his own care. He tends his patch with quiet attention, knowing its unique beauty and needs. He accepts his garden as it is, not as it might be if it were someone else's. He doesn't resent the neighbor's roses. He appreciates his own wild, resilient blooms. This is living in complete acceptance. It is not resignation to a lack, but a deep, warm embrace of the actual reality of the moment, of your own life, right here, right now. This is where the true shift happens. When you stop measuring your garden against the neighbor's, the subtle pressure of comparison dissolves. You no longer feel the need to constantly adjust your growth to match an external standard. Instead, you find yourself standing more firmly in your own skin, breathing more deeply in your own space. You begin to notice the quiet beauty in your own unique pace, the specific colors of your own flowers, the strength in your own roots. You realize that your path, with all its natural imperfections and unexpected turns, is not a deviation from the truth. It is the very truth of your existence. This acceptance changes everything. It softens the harsh judgment you often turn inward, replacing it with a gentle curiosity and kindness towards yourself. You stop seeing your journey as a series of shortcomings to overcome and start seeing it as a precious, unfolding expression of who you are. Reflect for a moment on your own life. When you truly accept your path without comparing it to others' maps, how does it change your relationship with yourself? Does the constant inner critic soften? Does a sense of peace, a deep knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, begin to replace the restless longing? Does the freedom of living without the weight of comparison allow you to simply be, to feel the sun on your face, to engage with your day with a lighter heart? This is the profound shift, the quiet liberation that comes from seeing life as it is, without the filter of comparison. It is the gentle breath that calms the storm, the clear water that reveals the true shape of the riverbed beneath. This is the heart of Zen wisdom. As the calm after the storm of digital noise settles within you, notice how the space once filled with comparison now holds a different kind of quiet. You've released the grip on fleeting moments, the temporary comparisons that flickered across your screen like fireflies. This release wasn't about finding something new to hold on to, but about discovering the profound peace of simply being here, exactly as you are. Now, let this peace deepen into a clear understanding. Your journey is not a race, nor a mirror held up to others. It is a river, flowing with its own rhythm, carving its own path through the landscape of your life. It moves with gentle persistence, shaped by the stones it meets, the sunlight it catches, the seasons that pass over it. It does not pause to measure its depth against the stream beside it, nor does it feel less because the river next to it seems wider or faster. Your experience, your growth, your very unfolding is as unique and irreplaceable as the pattern of ripples on a pond after a single raindrop. No comparison can ever capture the depth of what you're learning, the quiet strength you are building, or the subtle beauty in the way you navigate your own terrain. The river does not question its path, it simply flows, trusting the land it moves through. It does not seek to become the ocean to the east or the mountain stream to the west. It is simply the river it is, moving toward its own horizon. This is the wisdom of your path. It is not about arriving at a destination others have defined, but about honoring the slow, steady movement of your own unfolding. So take this moment to gently turn your attention inward. What does unfolding mean to you today? Is it the quiet courage to speak your truth in a meeting? The ease of letting go of a worry you carried for weeks? The simple act of savoring your morning tea without thinking of what someone else is drinking? It might be the soft recognition that you are learning, even when the learning feels invisible. It might be the feeling of peace that comes when you stop comparing your morning walk to the perfectly filtered one you saw online. This is your path unfolding, not in grand gestures, but in the tender, ordinary moments where you choose to be fully present without measuring against the world outside your own skin. This is the deep, liberating clarity of acceptance, seeing your unique journey not as a path to be compared, but as a river to be trusted, flowing with its own essential grace. This realization transforms how you engage with the world. As you sit now, feel your path unfolding with the quiet trust of a river flowing toward the sea, not rushing to match the pace of other streams. This is the deep peace you carried into this moment from the last chapter. Acceptance without comparison. Seeing your unique current with clear eyes. Now, as you move through the ordinary moments of your day, let this river's trust guide you. Your Zen compass is not a map drawn by others, but the quiet knowing within you, the deep peace that flows when you align with your true nature. It doesn't point to the latest trend, the curated highlight, or the scroll of someone else's journey. It points to what resonates with your inner stillness. So when you face a choice, whether to respond to a message, choose a path, or even select your morning tea, ask gently, does this align with my inner peace? Not the peace of approval, but the deep, unshakable peace that comes from being fully present, here and now. This question is your compass. It turns away from the noise of comparison and brings you back to the only place that matters, your own authentic being. Consider this simple moment. You stand before 2 cups of tea. One is the one you usually choose, the one that feels familiar and calming. The other is a new blend someone praised online, a vibrant color promising energy. Your social media feed might whisper that this new cup is better, more exciting, more worthy of your attention. But your inner compass, the quiet voice beneath the noise, simply asks, does this choice bring me peace? You look at the familiar cup. Feel the calm it brings, the ease in your breath. You see the new cup, but the thought of its unfamiliar taste creates a tiny tension in your shoulders. You choose the familiar cup, not because it's perfect, but because it aligns with the peace, This small choice, made without comparing to others or seeking external validation, is your Zen compass in action. It's not about grand gestures, it's about the 1,000 tiny moments where you let your inner truth guide you, one breath, one choice at a time. Now, take a gentle breath and reflect. What choice did you make today from your Zen compass? Not the one that looked good online, not the one others might praise, but the one that felt true within your quiet heart. Perhaps it was choosing silence over a quick reply, walking in nature instead of scrolling, or simply pausing to feel your feet on the ground. Notice how that choice felt. Lighter, clearer, more deeply at rest. That is the taste of living without comparison. It is not rejection of the world, but a deep, quiet knowing that your path is already perfect as it unfolds, exactly as it should. You don't need to measure yourself against others' rivers. You simply flow with your own current, guided by the peace within. This is how you live without comparison, not by ignoring the world, but by honoring the quiet wisdom that always has been there, guiding you home to yourself, moment by moment. In a world where every scroll offers a mirror to someone else's life, it's easy to lose sight of your own reflection. You see curated moments of others' journeys, perfect meals, effortless achievements, joyful gatherings, and feel the quiet tug to measure yourself against them. But Zen wisdom invites you to soften that gaze. Your path is not a copy of another's, it is a unique river flowing through its own landscape, shaped by your own waters, your own stones, your own seasons. The very things you might call quirks, your quiet patience, your unexpected laughter, the way you find peace in small moments, are not flaws to fix, but the signature of your being. They are the brushstrokes painting your life, not a sketch waiting to be erased. Comparison is a fog that clouds the clear sky of your present experience. When you look at someone else's highlight reel, you blind yourself to the quiet grace of your own morning tea, the comfort of your own home, the steady rhythm of your breath. You miss the beauty in the ordinary because you're chasing the extraordinary in another's story. This is not about dismissing others' journeys, but about honoring your own. Your struggles, your joys, your simple daily acts, they are the texture of your life, the very essence of your path. They are not less than anyone else's. They are yours, and they are enough. Consider this ancient Zen teaching. A child points at the moon, but focuses on the finger, not the light. We do the same with social media. We fixate on the finger, the carefully framed photo, the perfect caption, and forget to look at the moon, the vast, quiet beauty of our own unfolding. The moon is always there, whether we see it or not. So is the unique beauty of your life, waiting in the ordinary moments you often overlook. When you notice how your presence calms a friend, how your hands create something meaningful, or how you find stillness in the rain. That is the moon. That is your path. So take a quiet moment now. Close your eyes if you wish, or simply pause your breath. Reflect gently. What unique quality are you grateful for in yourself today? Is it the way you listen without judgment? The courage to try something new, even when it feels small? The quiet strength you find in simply showing up? It might be something as simple as your ability to notice the way light falls on your coffee cup. Name it. Feel it. Let gratitude settle in your chest like a warm stone. This is not self-praise. It is recognition of the sacred uniqueness within you, the very path you walk. This practice is not grand or dramatic. It is the gentle return to yourself, moment by moment. It is seeing your laughter, your patience, your quiet moments as the gifts they are, not as things to compare or improve. It is understanding that your journey is not meant to mirror anyone else's. It is meant to be lived fully, exactly as it is. So let this awareness flow into your next ordinary moment. Let it be the compass guiding you as you move through your day, not with the need to be different, but with the deep knowing that you're already complete. This celebration becomes your daily practice. In a world where we scroll through curated lives and measure our worth against endless feeds, it's easy to feel like we're missing something, like our own path is somehow out of step. But true harmony isn't about matching the rhythm of others, not even the most beautiful or seemingly successful ones. It's a quiet place within, a deep calm that settles when we stop comparing and simply allow ourselves to be exactly where we are right now. This is the gentle truth of Zen. You are already whole, already complete, not in some distant future, but here, in this ordinary moment, with all your unique qualities, your quiet strengths, your simple presence. There's no need to shrink or stretch yourself to fit a mold you see online. Your life, in all its quiet, unremarkable beauty, is your own sacred path. Consider the garden, not the perfect, uniform garden you might see in a magazine, but a real one, with flowers of every shape, color, and size blooming in their own time. A single blossom might open slowly, another might burst with bold color, a third might be a humble weed thriving in the shade. None of them compete with the others. They simply exist, each following its own inner impulse, contributing to the garden's harmony without trying to be the same. This is the harmony we cultivate within. It's not about achieving a perfect state, but about resting in the natural flow of your own being, moment by moment. It's the peace of knowing your path is uniquely yours, already complete, not needing to be more than it is. So today, as you move through your ordinary day, pause for just a breath. Notice the simple moments where you felt this inner quiet. Was it when you sipped your morning tea without checking your phone? When you listened deeply to a friend without planning your next response? When you walked in the park and felt the sun on your face without thinking about how it looked in a photo? These are not small moments. They are the very essence of living in harmony. They are where your unique path becomes visible, not through grand gestures, but through the tender, quiet acceptance of your own rhythm. You were complete then, as you are now, not because of what you did or didn't do, but simply because you were present. That is the gift you carry within you, always. Reflect gently on this. How did living in harmony feel different today? Was it a lighter step, a softer breath, a moment of unexpected peace when the usual noise of comparison simply faded away? That feeling, that quiet ease, is not something you need to chase. It is the natural state of your mind when you stop looking outward for validation and remember your own inherent completeness. It is the harmony of the garden, blooming right where you stand. This is the end of the journey and the beginning of your true life.